Hi, thanks for joining us on FJ Holden Drive Talking, and we're at the Nasco Bay Speed Shop. And what we wanted to talk about today, this being our second video, the first one was the startup of our FJ Holden panel wagon, one of three still in Australia. This one we're going to talk about outside accessories. So for those that are new to FJ Holdens and FX Holdens and so on, really good thing to get besides your workshop manual is the Master Parts Catalogue. Now there's two. There's this black one and also the one that's got the FX emblem on it as well. So there's two editions of the same type of thing. Now these are really good because not only have they got information about the parts and things like that in them, they've also got there's illustrations of the cars, and it's cars of and colours of the day, illustrations of the day. So you know there you've got the Ute and the FJ. You've got the FJ Ute and the FJ panel van. So that was about the first introduction to the FJ panel van when it was coming in. But besides that, they've got the number chart, what it means, and also colours of the interior, and also, and this is exciting for me, is accessories of the day. So it's a case of what I wanted to do in this series is just talk about accessories that you actually could get. Now, a lot of things with Holden, you could get two similar things of the same thing. Now, as silly as that sounds, I'll give you an example. Now, you would have the lock-in petrol cap and also a different type of lock-in petrol cap. This one here, the actual locks in the middle. This is old and hasn't been used in a while, obviously. So this one, you would be able to use it from the 48215 all the way through and still use it on the EJ Holden as a lock. Obviously externally up to EK, so do FX, FJ, FE, FC, FB, EK externally, but it's got the same locking mechanism on it. Similar as far as function is concerned, this one as well. The lock is in the middle of this one with a little flap on it, whereas this one is hidden underneath and it would sort of sit at the bottom. Now the other thing for the petrol caps, and I've got a little ad for one at the time, I just photocopied it to make it nice and easy to be able to show it. So you can see this was supplied with two keys. Now the original key would have had like a Thunderbolt shown on the actual key itself. I had that for my Ute, and what I also had was an accessory of the day. Now this was for sedan, panel van, Ute, and it's a bezel that actually slips over the filler neck, so that fits on like so, and then the petrol cap goes on like this. So it'd be a case of when you're filling up, any petrol that drips out of the nozzle just goes onto the chrome and you can just wash it off from there. So that's the two types of petrol caps that are locking besides the normal just screw on one that you got as standard. Now also available today is everyone would have seen the scratch plates that you could get on the doors, but what you could also get was a set of these, and there's a small little bonnet type scratch plate. I've seen these, I've seen round portholes, which is what I had on my Nasco panel van, and then there's also like a teardrop as well. But you see a series of three each side, pretty much in a nice straight line, evenly spaced out along the bonnet, and then these bonnet scratch plates would match the scratch plates on the door, and it would all fit in nicely. One of the other things that you could see on an FJ Holden, particularly the lights not being all that great for the time, was you could also get a set of spotlights. Now I got these from Early Holden Parts. They always supply really good stuff. Everything's nicely finished, it works, and so I've got a pair of these GE model. The chrome on them is beautiful, so I'm actually going to fit them to the front of our FJ and provide all the right relays and all those sorts of things. But these, a pair of twin headlights is going to be terrific for me because driving at night will illuminate the road much better and make it a much safer proposition to drive. Now, when talking about lighting, one of the things that you could also get at the day was a reversing light. And this is what I've got for my panel van. This will actually go, so I'll have the number plate on the spare wheel door bay. On the right hand side, on the driver's side, will be the Stokes light, but on this side it'll be on the passenger side, up underneath the beaver panel. It'll be a case of I'll have the reverse light mounted in there so that I can turn it on from inside the cabin and just illuminate behind me so we can reverse and you can see what you're doing at night time. So that's the light. You see them come up occasionally. Very rare item, but great sort of thing to have. But not only that, what accessories do two things. First of all, they make things look a little bit flash, but secondly, and far more importantly, they are to make your driving and motoring more enjoyable and pleasant and more functional and safe, which is what you really want. Now, also on the theme of things being outside, I have seen a couple of versions of these. Now, this is in the Master Parts catalogue. You'll see a fender marker. Now, these are good for drivers who have a little bit of trouble with width and also, just judging the width of the car. And what these are, there's a pair of them. I've seen some that only have them on the passenger side. But what happens is this is really a clamp. This is clamped to the underside, the U of the bottom of the guard. So at the top of the guard, this is latched on, and this clamp here goes onto the lip underneath the guard, and then it's screwed in. Now, with these fender markers, they're a NASCO product. There was a couple of different versions made, or three actually that I've seen. I've seen this type, I've seen it solid here, but I also had another type which had an FJ Holden gearbox knob on the top that unscrewed, that had a light on it, and it had two little circles here and there, so it could have, for instance, a dignitary of the day. They would have their flag. If it was an ambassador's car, for instance, that was where they would have the flag mounted. So as they were driving, their flag would flutter as they were being driven along on a police escort and so on. But those fender markers are really good because they will show the driver precisely where the width of the car is. Now, more importantly, as a bit of a tip, I only put them on when I was taking the car to a show, because if you had them on when the car was parked in the garage, your pocket could catch on these, or they'd catch on your pants or your shirt or your belt buckle and things like that, and they could be broken. So I would actually take them off in between shows and I would just leave them in the car. Now, one of the other things that I have on cars is an exhaust deflector. Holden, that's exactly what Holden called it. And it's, I've got the little blurb for it, and it's also in the book as well, down here, number 35, and 35 they call a extension stroke exhaust. Now, this is exactly as per the illustration. This is what they look like. This one is unrestored. It's in farm fresh condition. It hasn't been tapped up or anything like that yet, or re-chromed, but it's just a nice little example of things that you'll find. And what I'm trying to do with a series of this and talking about my accessories and things like that is to give people a bit of an idea about what's available. So that is just a quick edition of some accessories, and we'll come back with another clip to tell you about other accessories that would be available at the day. And if I've got some documentation and things like that about it, well, that'll just substantiate it more. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed our little NASCO edition of external accessories, and we'll talk about some other accessories shortly. Hope you've enjoyed this clip, and if you like what you saw, press like and subscribe, and when I put some other things out, well, you'll be able to get that too. But anyway, this is Jules Knight from FJ Holden Jive Talking. I hope you've enjoyed the clip, and we'll see you with some more accessories. Thank you.